Hey, welcome back to MyATMM.com, cost basis tracking built for option sellers. Go ahead and review the disclaimer on screen, and let's get right to it. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are logged into the web application MyATMM.com, and we are setting on our EMA Open portfolio because this is another one of our bots that we are currently offering up the information for, and wanted to just cover this past week's transactions, go ahead and import them into the system and then show you how we do that in the application. This bot in particular is interesting because the first part of the week we were trading it in TastyTrade, and we were in the process of moving it to another Schwab account and got the Schwab account open and activated and switched it midweek. So I think there's 1 day's worth of trading over in Schwab. The reason why we moved it from Tasty is because Tasty charges exercise fees on XSP and SPX options. If you leave them in the money to cash settlement expiration, they'll charge you, like, I think it's a $5 fee per leg or something like that. In any case, it's ridiculous. I mean, especially if you're focused on a small account in XSP, that'll really tear into your profits. So we moved that over to Schwab because Schwab does not do that nonsense. It doesn't charge exercise fees or assignment fees. I mean, but the XSP and SPX are cash settled indexes, but Tasty still charges it on those too. It's crazy. Anyway, Schwab does not. Another broker we found that does not charge that exercise fee is Public. Public.com does not do that. We actually run our Orb bot on Public because it does not charge the exercise fees. So that's just a little tidbit, good to know. Tradier, unfortunately, that does charge the exercise fees. So if you're going to trade anything on that, you got to be sure to close it out before it expires. Otherwise, they'll ding you for that too. I don't know what's up with some of these brokers charging exercise fees on a cash settled index. In any case, all right, moving on. I have a previous to this video or recording starting it, I had exported our TastyTrade transactions for the EMA Open bot from this previous week, and I've also gone into Schwab and done that. Let me go ahead and just jump over to the import export screen, taking advantage of our AI CSV import. I'm first going to go ahead and just drag and drop the Tasty one. Just drop it on here, go ahead and parse that, and go ahead and get those transactions imported. It usually doesn't take this long, so this is kind of interesting that it's actually dragging a little bit. I wonder if there's a... interesting. Okay, we're back, and I figured out what I had done. Note to self, if you are in TastyTrade, make sure you're exporting the transaction history, not the order history. I had accidentally exported the order history, and that's why it didn't crash, but it threw an error saying that it couldn't import anything because it couldn't find any transactions because there were no transactions. It was the order history. Anyway, all right, let's try this again. I re-exported the transaction history, so we're going to drag and drop that file, click parse, and it happened almost instantaneously, which that is the experience that you should get. You should only wait like a second, maybe 2 seconds when it's parsing these files because it's really fast. So anyway, okay, so it imported 16 options, brought in some dividends because it had some stock purchase in there that I had done. That I think we're going to probably clean up. Well, I'll probably leave it in for now. But anyway, if we wanted to view the details, so there it is in the XSP transactions right there. But as I said, we ran the first half of the week in Tasty, and then we did like one transaction over in Schwab for this EMA Open bot. So I want to pull in the Schwab transactions now. So drag and drop that file, parse that, and it pulled it in. As you can see, there's just 2 transactions it pulled in and a ledger entry. There was some transfers of funds when we were moving money around into this account to, seed it with money that it could trade with. So all right, so we got all the transactions imported. So now what we want to do is come back to the dashboard, and it shows the total brokerage balance. It's actually less than that. It's combining the 1,000 that we had in the Schwab account and 1,000 that we had in the TastyTrade account. So that'll average out and be corrected in the coming weeks. So performance, just looking at the past couple weeks, The first week, it looks like it was a negative 110. The second week, it looks like it pulled in 149.44. So this bot's doing pretty good. Let's go to the strategy summary. All right, so as you can see, so last week was the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. So all 5 of these days, it pulled in a small profit each of those days, and these previous 2 are from the previous week. And as you can see, it was trading a little bit differently then. I don't think I had this bot on this account churned all the way on. It was having issues. But in any case, it's back up and running now. So in any case, that's pulling in the transactions for it. What I want to do now is go over to the trading bot section so I can just show you the high level backtest data on this specific bot. So coming over to trading bots. And again, we'd covered this in the previous video, but again, just to like highlight it again, our philosophy is a small risk on small accounts, no stop losses, because we have basically built the stop loss into the transaction itself. So you can basically get into these trades and walk away for today and not care if it crashes or it flies to the moon. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to lose your shirt on it. It's not like a normal credit spread strategy that people advertise out there for the far out of the money ones, the ones that you have to like keep an eagle eye on and make sure the market doesn't just jump all of a sudden in a certain direction and you lose like triple what your entry was. Those are the ones where you're risking like $500 to $1,000 to make $30 to $80. Our strategy, our bots are only risking about $50 to make about $50. So I mean, you could have a flash crash and you wouldn't even care because there is no stop loss. It's built in. And the funny thing about it is, if you've been monitoring SPX at any degree, you know it can just turn around and go. It, it can be a complete roller coaster from one direction to the next. And even though it does a flash crash, so to speak, and then completely almost recover. So leaving leaving these positions on all day sometimes either becomes a wash or a win, even after a strong move in the direction you don't want it to go in. So there's some strong advantages there to using this. So this is just covering our philosophy on that briefly. And the other cool thing about these bots is they are focused for small accounts. They're built for small accounts. And we mainly can get away with doing this because the PDT rule is gone. Now, like we have 5 bots running and they're running in 5 different accounts. And we could do that because each account only needs a couple grand in it to work for day trading. If we had to do this pre the PDT rule being gone, we'd need like 25 grand in each account, probably a little bit over, just in case if there was some drawdown. So this is a great advantage now that PDT is gone. We can run all of these at the same time. All right, so let me go ahead and collapse this information. And we also now have this all 5 together. Basically, it's summarizing all 5 bots. If you're running all 5 bots together, this is the combined P&L. Just running one contract over the course of the complete back test data that we have, which right now it looks like it's 992 days over the past 4-ish years. This is the results that all 5 of these bots combined have come up with. So as you can see, like the worst combined single day trading was only a loss of 147. The max drawdown across all 4 of them, like if you took each max drawdown from each of the bots individually, it would be $1,300. But if you're running all 5 of them together, the max drawdown was only $412 over the 4-year period that we did. And all 5 of the years were profitable. The green months, there's 98% of them, 49 of the 50 months were profitable. And there was not a single day where all of the bots lost. At least one of the bots on any given trading day won. At least one of them did. So that's why the max drawdown is not significant. Okay, but moving on to this specific bot, the EMA bot, we get scroll down. It's all the way here at the bottom. So as you can see, it reads the prevailing futures trend after the opening bar, and then it sells a defined risk XSP 0 DTE credit spread on its own terms, and it just places the order, and then it lets it fly basically I think there's a target take profit, but other than that, it lets it go. And here's the back test results over 1,042 trading days. That's doing one contract. That's the back test result. The win rate is actually lower than, you see some of these 90% win rate trades out there, but they're basically betting the farm on every single trade. Um, like, I don't know, say you had a $20,000 account. Well, on the $500 to $1,000, like if you're running a 5 wide spread on SPX or a 10 wide spread on SPX, going for those credit spread far out of the money strategies, you'd be risking like $500 to $1,000 to profit like 80 bucks. And that's assuming that it stays on the opposite side of where you're trading it from. As soon as it starts creeping back closer to yours, or if there's a flash crash, you can instantly like lose your shirt on that if you have a defined stop loss, or if you're like eyeballing it. In any case, it's very easy to lose all your money on those. And all it takes is one day can wipe you out significantly, or lose half your money. These bot trades, it doesn't matter. You could have a horrible day and only lose like 5% or something of the complete account. You're not going to lose 50% like you would in those other far out of the money trades. Anyway, so that's why the win rate is a little bit lower than like those 90% ones, but that's because a loss is not going to wipe you out completely. This kind of looks ridiculous, the average ROI being 149%, but this kind of ties back into that same whole philosophy. We are not risking a lot of money on these trades. So if you have a marginally higher win rate, like close to 70%, you're risking far less than you are when you profit from these. It's like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 ratio on this specific bot. So that's why the average ROI is so high. And as you can see, the max drawdown is only 146 on one contract for this one bot. So even this one bot has a very small max drawdown on it across the 5 years. Across all the months, 96% of them were profitable. And it doesn't trade every single day, but it trades, like this thing says, it trades about 2 of every 3 signal days, because there are days where it'll give a signal but still not place the order. And that's all in the details of this. Also, going with the equity curve for this bot, we have this button. By the way, all this information you're seeing currently is freely available on the free account. You can have a free account in the system and see this information, and you can even see the equity curve. It's only to get the nitty-gritty details of how to set this bot up would you need to buy it. So in any case, I'm going to click this button, bring up the equity curve. And so this is the equity curve showing for one contract for the entire backtest data history. So as you can see, starts off 0, about 100-ish or so, and then it starts climbing up. And so let's see, what's 1 year? So 2023 6/3. Let's see if we can find 1 year in. So there's about 1 year in. About 1 year in on one contract, it's gone from like $100 to $39.86. And then if we went to 2024 6, let's see, that's about here. So about 85. So it almost went from what, 3,800 to this. So more than doubled on one contract. So in any case, it has obviously you can see it has a positive equity curve. And then right here, we also did the scaling. So if we wanted to just I just do a ballpark, one contract per $1,000 in the account. So if we had $20,000, we would be trading 20 contracts. And again, we're not risking the full $20,000. When we run 20 contracts on this, we're only risking about, like I said, about 50-ish or less per contract. So 20 contracts, say we did at the max risk 50 bucks, that's $1,000 on a $20,000 account. So even if we had a horrible day, we would not lose like 10 grand or something like you could easily lose running those far out of the money credit spreads. Anyway, if you turn this toggle on, you can see how it completely almost it starts climbing really quickly, because you can see I have the amount of the count value, but also have the number of contracts that it starts running as it gets. So I have it capped out at 100 contracts, because more than that would be kind of crazy to even expect. Very unrealistic. 50 to 100 is probably completely realistic on the high end. But obviously you start getting partial fills and stuff like that. But it's just a ballpark on backtest data to kind of give you an idea of the strength of this. So we would start trading about 100 contracts about right here, October 23. So that's a little, a year and a half or so, a year and 4 months into starting this. And as you can see, it starts trading like 4 contracts, 8 contracts, 20 contracts, you know. So it's starting to really climb here. But I mean, you're at max contracts way where was it? Right here. You're almost at max contracts right here. So from here all the way to the right is running just 100 contracts every time. It's not scaling it past that. You're capped at that 100 contracts. So it happens pretty quick per this backtest. Anyway, as you know, backtests are just backtest data. It's not a reflection of what can actually happen. It's just a simulation. All right. Anyway, so that's the EMA Open bot. And you can come in here and review all of these or review this one, and you can purchase these individually or as a group, and then you can get the full details on the bots themselves. And I think I already showed you this, but in tools, we already showed the dashboard in the weekly, but yeah, I think I did show you this, the strategy summary, how it breaks it down by day, so you can see each day's transaction that ran. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. That's going to wrap it up for this one. If you got something out of it, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you haven't already, head over to MyATMM.com and create your free account. 3 tickers free forever. No credit card required. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.